Hello and welcome to this video. So in this particular video, we're going to look at JavaScript data types. So in the last video, we spoke about variables, and we said that a variable is a container that can basically be used to store values. Now the question is, what type of values are allowed in JavaScript? And so that is what we're going to learn in this video. So in JavaScript, we have about 8 or 9 data types that are allowed for use when declaring variables. So the first data type we are going to look at in JavaScript is the number data type. Now, when we say number data type, we are talking about decimal numbers, whether they are positives or negatives, integers, whether they are positives or negatives. So all these ones fall under the number data type. Then we also have the string or text data type. So any piece of data that is in text form, it falls under the string or text data type. For example, if I have the name of somebody, that particular piece of data is a string. Then we also have the Boolean data type. So the Boolean data type has to do with true or false. So when we have a true, it's a Boolean data type. When we also have a false, is a Boolean data type. So Boolean data type is made up of true or false. Then we have another data type called undefined. Now, when we say undefined, we are basically talking about a state where a variable, for example, has no value yet. So when you use the word undefined, it simply says that the variable has no value yet. Then we also have the null data type, which is basically used to say that a variable, for example, has no value. So the next data type is arrays. And an array is basically a container for holding multiple values. Now, arrays in JavaScript are zero-based, or they have a zero-based index, which means that all the time the first item in an array has an index of 0. So the last data type we are going to talk about is object. And an object is basically a container that stores a key value pair of data. Now, the difference between an array and then an object is that an object can contain any of the data types we are speaking about. So an object can contain an object, which can contain a number data type, it can contain a string data type, it can contain a Boolean data type, it can contain an undefined data type, it can contain a null data type, and it can even have an array data type in it. But an array can only contain a number, a string, a Boolean, undefined, or null. That is it. So these are the data types we have in JavaScript. Now, what I also want to say is that numbers, strings, Booleans, undefined, and nulls are mostly called primitive data types, whilst arrays and objects are called composite data types. So now that we've seen the different data types in JavaScript, let's head over to our code editor and declare a few variables using these data types. So the first data type we are going to look at is the number data type. So let's declare a variable with the var keyword, and we are going to call this number. We are going to assign it the value of 23 and end this with a semicolon. So this is a data type which falls under the number data type. Again, we can have var, and the next data type we spoke about is the string data type. So we can say string, and we are going to assign it the value of, let's say, any text. Let's end it with a semicolon. So the next data type we are going to have is the Boolean data type. So let's have Boolean, and we are going to give it a value of either true or false. Let's go with true. True, if I can spell this. And again, we spoke about the undefined data type. So let's have, I can even have let, and we are going to say name be equal to undefined, and we're going to end this with semicolon. Then the next data type we spoke about, we can say const, and this is going to be, let's say, pi equal to null. So the next data type we are going to look at is arrays. So let's have let, and I'm going to say names equal to, so to declare an array we use the opening and closing square brackets, and in between the opening and closing square brackets we can supply the values that are going to be in the array. So we want to store some names. Let's have John. We are going to have Mavis. We will again have Davis, and we'll end this with a semicolon. So the next data type is going to be objects. So let's have let people equal to, we are going to have an opening and closing curly bracket, and let's open up our opening and closing curly brackets. Now, in between our opening and closing curly brackets, like I said, we can have an array, we can have a null data type, we can have an undefined data type, we can have a Boolean data type, we can have basically all the primitive data types. And so what we can do here is we are going to have a key of, let's say, name. So we can have a key of name, and then we have a colon, and the value would be a string, which is going to be John Doe. Then we are going to have a comma, and then we go to the next key value pair, which is going to be age, and this is also going to be a string of text. So we're going to have 23 years. So for the next key value pair, let's have fruits, and we are going to have a value of an array, and this array is basically going to have a list of fruits. So let's have banana, and we are going to have a comma here and also maybe some apple, and that will be all for this object. So our first variable has the data type of number. The second variable has a data type of string or text. The third variable has a data type of Boolean. The fourth variable has a data type of undefined. The fifth variable has a data type of null. The C variable has a data type of array, and then the last variable, which is people, has the data type of an object. So basically that is all for this video, and if you like these type of videos, I urge you to click on the subscribe button because it encourages me to create more of these kinds of videos. And if you have any questions concerning this particular video, do feel free to leave it in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.